almost an anti-merit purity. So for me, there is no longer any mystery. Of course, the details of the various systems and which ones actually started things going on the surface of the Earth, that can maybe take many generations. But when I first came into this field, well, came into it isn't quite right. I was just sort of taking sideways glances at it from the 1970s, 80s, 90s, because of my interest in chirality, and homochirality seemed to be a central theme in discussions of origin of life. The origin of homochirality did seem to be a great mystery. People were worrying about what they wanted was to try, that they couldn't see how to generate homochirality in the prebiotic monomers, that they were focusing on that. And people were saying, you needed complete homochirality in the monomers to get homochiral polymers because of enantiomeric cross inhibition. These ideas came up in the 80s. And I know we had models like Frank and Kondapudi later sort of suggesting how it might happen, but there was no real concrete experimental evidence for this. But then in the 1990s we had this work of people like Mark Green on these helical synthetic polymers, and without any chirality at all in the monomers, you could have these polymers would take up nice well-defined helices, but of course you would have racemic mixtures, and then just very small perturbations would push the whole system into complete homochirality. For me, that was very significant. That sort of lifted the fundamental mystery. And then in the last couple of years we've seen, even with the monomers, we've seen results, the work of people like Blackman with solid-liquid equilibria, and Cooks and Feringa with this sublimation, just a small enantiomer.
I think the sublimation experiments were done in the 60s.
Okay.
Both Feringa and both Blackman and all these people have ignored, and they rediscovered this experiment.
Okay, that's right. Rediscovered. It wasn't. They weren't noticed in the subject of
in books.
Homochirality.
You can find it in the books of Eliel and Glenn, and that's but they have not tried this.
Yeah, they weren't recognised. Yeah. So even for the generation of large enantiomeric excesses in the chiral monomers, there's no fundamental problem there. So for me personally, I'm completely satisfied. I'm a satisfied customer of this meeting. But I realise there's, of course, there's a huge amount of work will go on for generations and generations. But I think I'm sort of optimistic in as much as the fact that the question of the origin of homochirality over several decades has evolved from a mystery into something that now looks a commonplace, suggests, that the subsequent steps to understanding properly the physics and chemistry of the origin of life, I'm sort of not so pessimistic anymore. I do feel that maybe it might be solved eventually, and perhaps sooner than we think. So anyway, so I would, I'm sure you'll all join me in saying how much we've all enjoyed and benefited tremendously from this wonderful meeting that Axel and Vincent, and Raphael have set up for us.
Actually, Robert, you call him Marcel.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's finish with
Yeah, thanks very much. It was really great having you all here. And as I said already, it's really hard to imagine the next few weeks without all of you. The activity with programs, of course, will continue, as we know. And there will be other programs, new people will be coming, and this place will be in a different place in just 2 weeks' time again, with a large number of other people. But as far as the activity is concerned, I would like to ask you to send us, as many of you have already done, some feedback, for example, regarding the housing, how that was, but also, as is done in many other such places, Santa Barbara Isaac Newton Institute mentioned this too, to just illustrate a little bit what were the ideas that the new insights that you developed, what did you do? Could write, oh, I finished this and this paper, which of course doesn't have anything to do with this meeting, but that was finally submitted and stuff. But then also I had discussions with him, and maybe that's it. And so that would be useful. And sometimes certain quotes can be useful, of course, for us to be mentioned also to other people later on, but it's generally good to have some kind of feedback. As far as money is concerned, I think all of you are expecting some kind of reimbursement. That does take its time, but if something doesn't happen after a few weeks, just get in touch with Laila and ask her whether it has been sent and stuff. Some time ago, there was a problem that which was caused by one particular union, labor union, which did some tax fraud, and because of this, it has become extremely hard during 2007 at least to reimburse anybody who was not Swedish. So this problem was caused by one particular labor union, not all of them, just one. And this has made life so difficult, at least through 2007, that every single one of you must have had a personal security number within Sweden. So if you come back to Sweden again, you will find, oh, I have already a personal security number here in Sweden. That's because every single one was registered at the tax authorities. And so obviously you can imagine this takes a lot of time, that is also because Laila is just one person. But I think this is somewhat different, easier now, and that's the reason why these reimbursements are called stipends. That's the only reason why it's so strange.
Does it mean we pay tax on the stipends?
There's of course no tax, no. But I mean, the tax authority needs to verify that the tax amount is zero. They are the ones who say so, not us. And that's the reason. So I hope you will understand this. Things used to be easier when we were in Denmark, but now we are in Sweden. Swedish laws, and likewise Sweden has to of course become aware that there's people, institutes which have lots of foreigners, like us, for example. Okay, so with that, and also if you have any work or will have any work that you will write up or have written up, you are encouraged to put it onto the Nordlia preprint server. I explained it already in one of the emails, and you are welcome to try it out. Just click on preprints, and then it says somewhere manage preprints. And the password is Carelity, and the user ID is Carelity 2008 with a capital C. If I had the projector on, I could have shown you. Maybe I can still show it to you, of course. Any other questions? Or even other aspects that remain open? I remember you of course have, if you think it would. We can also, I mean, we have some leftovers of our beverages, by the way, and some of us are hanging out here for a bit longer. So that would also be a situation where we can continue discussing. And if I now want to show you the thing with preprints,